Welcome back to the channel. So today you clicked on this video probably because you're having the same issue with your kid's bike. So this is an extremely common issue with a through spindle one piece crankset, mainly found on kids bikes or like especially like cruiser type bikes. And I'm going to take this one apart and show you all the inner workings and why all that you need to do is literally tighten one of the bearing race cups. Okay, stay with me. Dirty force! So this is the crankset here. This crankset consists of the arm, the two arms, the pedals, the chain ring, in this case the chain ring guard, which is found on most kids' bikes because if this wasn't here, they would just get their pants caught in the chain ring, and yeah, you can just imagine what happens there. Maybe you don't have to imagine. It might have happened already. So first thing you want to do is take the chain off the chain ring. Then the second thing you want to do is remove the pedals. So I work on a lot of bikes. I don't need fancy pedal tools. All you need is a 15 mil wrench. Just a 15 mil standard box wrench, but the open end. Obviously, it fits most pedals that you're gonna come across. Sometimes they're a little bit bigger, but more often than not, that's not the case. On the drive side, which is the side with the cogs and the chain and the chain ring in the front ring is called the chain ring. You're gonna fit the wrench into the pedal portion here between the pedal and the crank arm. There's two flat pieces there, and you're gonna just fit the wrench onto that. And this side is lefty loosey, so I just kind of hit with a mallet, and you're going to take the pedal off lefty loosey. So just take your time with this if you've never done it before. And pedal should just come right off. Most of the time though, I see these bikes come in and these pedals are seized on. In that case, you can use some WD-40 or some penetrant oil just to put in there and just leave it for about 20 minutes to half an hour and you'll be good to go. It's also the reason why I use a mallet. So this side is righty loosey. So right loose on the non-drive side. But these pedals are surprisingly good, easy to come off. Which tells me that this bike spent most of its time indoors and not much time with the child riding the bike. So there's an issue with this ring. You see the issue? A bent chain ring is nothing major. I'm not going to cover it in this video, but we'll have to fix this in order for this bike to actually function. So basically what we're looking for here is play. So when I rock the crank arm back and forth, not this way, towards the seat too and back to me, you can see that there's some play there. Okay, if that's left to its own device, then what's going to happen is this side here is going to continue to basically unravel itself, come loose, and then you're just going to get a whole whack of play here, and eventually the bearings are going to fall out and you'll have a bearingless bottom bracket, which is never good. So what I've got here is your standard crescent wrench, adjustable wrench, right? So you've got this nut here, right? This is a lock nut essentially. Then you're going to have a washer. Then you have the race cup. So because I know this is already loose, it's probably going to come off quite easily. So with this one, what you want to do is it's righty loosey again, okay? This is a left-handed thread, so you're going to turn it to the right clockwise to loosen it, right? Once you get the lock nut off, you're going to pull it. That's why you got to take the pedals off on these ones. You're going to pull that off, set it aside. Then you've got the lock nut washer, right? You can pull that off too and set it aside. Then, because I can see that this is loose already, so that cup is loose. You don't even need a tool. You see that? Right? So this, again, is righty-loosey. Thread it right off the threads. Okay? And you're going to take that off and set it aside as well. So on the drive side, you're going to grab hold of the drive side crank. Okay? This is the bearing. See how it just kind of slid out there on its own? That's the bearing. These bearings are actually pretty good shape. So once the bearing's out, you have to take the bearing out. Bearing cage, so it holds the ball bearings in a cage. So that's going to come out like that, and then you basically just work this out nice and easy like that. Okay? So the bearing cage on the other side will just come out with the spindle, as you can see. So now you've got this bearing race cup here, right? This is pressed in, this cup. And on this side, you have the bearing race cup as well. And you can see there's some water in there, right? That's how the water damage happens in the bottom bracket. I did wash this bike before because I knew I was going to be taking the BB off. So at this point, just take the chain, just let it hang. Just let it hang like that. All right? So you want to remove the water that's in there. So if you have compressed air, it's always the best. Just take the handy dandy rag and get in there. The other thing you want to do is remove the old grease from these grease cups right here. Okay? You're going to need a rag for that anyway. Just clean the shell off a bit. Like that. That's it. Now what you want to do is just wipe down the spindle. And on this side right here, that is a bearing race. So wipe that down. Get all the old grease off of it. This one's not bad actually. Surprised. Let me just wipe the chain ring down. Both sides. Because this chain ring guard here attaches by screws. The screw heads are on the inside of the chain ring. Just go around them and just make sure they're tight. Just a quick check. You gotta be thorough when you do this stuff, right? You don't want to do it half, you know what. So that pedal threads. Clean all the grease off the pedal threads as well. Like so. So with the bearings, put them on an old rag, WD-40. Be generous with it. Just take the cage and just go round and round with the rag. Round and round with the rag. That's it. Looked like brand new. This one here, this cup here that you took off the lock nut, you want to clean this off of old grease too. So now at this point, if you have a kickstand and it looks like this, that means it's loose. So while you have the bottom bracket and the cranks and everything removed, this is the best time and easiest time to tighten off the kickstand. So now what we're going to do, take a healthy portion of grease and just grease the cups. Also going to grease this little race here. You don't need a lot on this one though. Okay, grease the spindle and put a little bit of grease on the threads here. Bottom brackets take a massive amount of abuse. That's where your water is going to enter, your salt, your stones, everything. Okay, so you want to protect it as much as possible. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take the bearing, okay, the bearing, and you're going to slide it bearings face way out, right? So when you put the bearing cage in, it's going to face bearing side in, okay, on both sides, not this side, on both sides. So in order to make that happen, you have to slide the bearing cage onto the crank arm like this, so it sits on the race like that. Okay, so remember, bearing sits like that. Okay, and all you're going to do is just feed this through like that. You're going to put this bearing this way, which will sit like so, with the cup in like this. Remember, it threads on counterclockwise. Okay, once you get to this point where it's threaded all the way, you're not going to feel any play at all. Okay, you don't want to feel any play here. So make sure it's just threaded just enough so you don't feel any play, okay? There's a little tab here on the washer. You want to line that tab up with the channel in the threads on the spindle, okay? Then you're going to take the lock nut and you're going to thread it on, okay? Remember that it's lefty tighty, okay? Remember, this is all reverse thread here. So left hand tight. Now because this lock nut tightens the same way that this one tightens, that the cup tightens, sometimes it will tighten the bearing cup, okay? So it has happened here, so that should be free flow, right? So when you back this out, okay, we're gonna back this out again, okay? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna back that out a little bit, okay? Just a little bit, right? So I still feel a little bit of play there, but now we're gonna tighten this, okay? And we're gonna tighten it right up again, okay? Still, it's tight, right? So what we want to do is we want to play with this until you get that perfect tightness of no play, but still lots of freedom. See, here we're getting a little bit better, right? We got no play, a little bit better freedom here. Loosen this, and I'll loosen the bearing cup again, and then tighten it again. And then basically you just play this back and forth game until you get it like that, okay? But it can't have any play, which this one doesn't. So tighten this right off as much as you can. If you need some more leverage, come on this side and push down and pull up at the same time. That's perfect. No play and lots of freedom. So now the pedals. So what I've done here is I've greased the pedal threads a little bit, right? And on the end of the pedal here, you're gonna see an L and an R, okay? There's an R there. I don't know if you can see that right there, but you can definitely see the L. So the L stands for left and the R stands for right. So the L is left of the rider, non-drive side, okay? So this Non-drive side is reverse thread again. Good old bicycles and the reverse threads. So this is gonna thread on anti-clockwise, counterclockwise. Okay, I thread them on until just hand tight until I can't go anymore. The drive side is a clockwise thread. So that's it. Not as bad as people may think it might be, right? Just a couple wrenches, a little bit of grease, no specialty bike tools here needed. Hopefully this video helped you out. If not, just leave it in the comments below. If you have any questions or anything, I could talk bikes all day. Don't hesitate. Take care. All the best with your project. Take your time with it. We'll keep the rubber side down. We'll see you on the next one.